dang. This is probably the best lighting I've gotten in video in a while. Holy cow. No, I put that right there. It was like, I actually have lighting. That's actually crazy. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is X. Today we're going to recap the Bushiroad strategy presentation. And I'm not just meaning to talk about the Vanguard stuff. I mean all of it. Except Shadow vs. Ball, because that was already done like a couple days ago. Mostly, and the only other stuff that was given addition to was Musume, which I don't care for. Like, that is completely sleeper, I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, we're here to actually talk about it. So right now I've got this nice format for the presentation. This was actually not made by me, because I ain't about that. This is actually made by Freedomduo. So, go if you want to get this. I'll have a link to the description to the tweet that they specifically put this in. Also probably the link to the Dropbox itself. So, thank them for that. Because I was going to have to get all that information. I was probably just going to do the Vanguard stuff, but we got all of it. We're going to do it. So speaking of Vanguard, we're going to start with Vanguard because that was first off. Overdress information. So first off, overdress. I am in an awkward position because straight up I'm covering it, but I'm here to tell you about it anyway. So overdress will start on July 4th, 2022. I mean, this is America time, right? This is the America episode. So congratulations, man. We did it. We finally got our own episode. But no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it will officially premiere on July 4th, 2022, and it will start, and we get that. But we also got information. Wildress will have 3 seasons. Season 2 will be scheduled for winter 2022, so it'll be like November, December, I'm assuming. And then Season 3 will be in summer 2023. That is very long, but I can get it. Probably that's the next block of story beats and whatnot, so that's cool. My thoughts on this is that good. I have some little issues with the overdress era so far in terms of its anime, but I'm willing to keep going so long as they're willing to keep improving, which I agree. Season 2 was a vast improvement over Season 1. I'm hoping Season 2, Wildress is able to do the same, and just keep improving over and over, because even like some of the series we call the grades, right? Original Vanguard, that got better over time and actually made some good TV. So I'm really hopeful for Overdress to get better. So next we're so that's happened. Next we got more info on the trial decks. They will release in Japan on July 22nd. Interesting, but they will come out and they will also come out with they said excuse me, this is what I'm trying to say, because I'm trying to do this in one whole shot and we just get on with it. So they announced that not only will these trial decks have a special support set, which will actually give you the real cards, because the whole thing is hey, we want new players to get into the game. So here is a little base deck. It will have cards that will be in the deck, but also have cards that will also teach you how to play the game in terms of overdress format. I think they show it. Oh yes, they do. They will show it comes with tutorial cards. It will have the ride line will have information about Vanguard skills and what a ride deck is. Have information what boosting is. Have information of what the grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 can do. All the things they can do, and then the whole thing will then eventually go into a expansion pack, which will have the real cards you're going to separate into, with an additional random foil. One of them will actually be foiled. I'm assuming outside of the actual grade 3, probably an upgrade to the grade, one of the other grade 3s, which we'll talk about the grade 3s in just a second. So that being said, also not only will it come with the deck that will give you tutorial cards that teach you how to play the game, and not only because this was revealed earlier, I think last product stream, which was the box. The trial deck case it will come in will also be a kind of like a box for people to put their deck in, but it will also come, as of announced, with 53 sleeves. As in, it will come with brand new sleeves for these cards, for your new deck, right? It will have the 3 anime characters on it, like how they did with, Yu and all of them. So that will be a brand new thing. Fantastic. I like this because this is such a big value. This will probably be around like $15, kind of like how normal trial decks were back in the past, but this is so much more value. A whole deck to immediately have sleeved, a deck box that you can actually use to carry your deck around, a whole new deck with some new mechanics. I don't think I'll bring it up right now. I think we'll talk about it again in a second, and then just straight up like get you in the game. Now there's also like a campaign at JP, which is like, oh, you can get like a special thing. I don't know what it is, but we'll I don't think that's important right now until we actually see what the actual thing is. I think if we talk about that later, it'll make sense. So there's that, and then also like one of the things that people have been kind of looking for and kind of reading what the cards do is that on the actual set, I mean, they've kind of like, people have like zoomed in and enhanced on the trial deck boxes because they actually have like a bit of the skill that's on there, and it does look at different boxes. But one of the things they did have is they noticed that there's a possibility that, have you listened to my set 5 thing, there was a thing about Degria in there, and that was straight up like set, it's like, oh hey, there's a possibility this is going to have like the Degria clause, which is if you ride a card with the same name but it's a different unit, you also get Persona Ride. If that is true, that is also interesting. I don't know what the implications of that could be later. That really more so depends on what the actual cards will do, which we still don't know. We'll know at least the Neo Nectar band members at least on Tuesday, the next Tuesday stream, because they'll also recap everything. It'll have those voice actors, they'll have Zaxa and the pink hair girls, VA, and they'll come and talk and they'll show their cards. So that's what's going to happen to them. So that's one thing. Also, we got info on Booster Set 6, which will come out August 5th. It will have a new Nirvana and a new Barina. Not just one Barina, it will also have 2 Barinas. We'll talk about it in a second. But it will also come with a reprint of the Overtriggers, functional reprints of the Sentinels, somewhat to give the old ones like actual like artwork. So also because of that also means that more chaos support, and reprints of the old triggers, I'm assuming, and basic triggers with new artwork. So there's actually some nice stuff there. They're reprinting. They're doing what we asked for, which is reprinting cards. And since they're in a new era, it makes sense to reprint the Overtrigger, the PG, and some more triggers. Now, it might be like, oh, but what about the other triggers? It's like, I don't know. It will depend. I think they want to still keep some value in those old boxes, so I think they don't want to just repeat them just yet. Just give them some time. So that's cool, and I pretty enjoy that. They also announced there's going to be double frame and frame rares. What it is more so just straight up like a rarity, which is just more like an extra rarity, right? It's not like a VR or SGR. It's just kind of like an alternate version of the card where you get a different frame that actually frames the card, and you also get like a more valued version, which will have a different frame, but it'll be like harder to get. I'm assuming. We don't have any information on what these do or what they can do, whatnot. So that is interesting. It's a good way to kind of keep the value of the set going, while also keep the these there, because that allows people to get into the game, get in to actually buy these cards and get them there, so not superly expensive. So what else? Did I miss anything? I don't think I missed anything. Oh yes, and they also talked about Lyrical Booster 3, which will come out September 2nd. So it'll come between set 6 and set 7, which we'll also talk about in a second. They will also have the frame rares as well. So they'll have it for the a new unit, and then the new PG reprints they're also going to do. They're also build like the new artwork, which I think Ghost is cool. They also announced they're also going to reprint the Sentinels, the Overtriggers, and the crits. So that's also another thing. Or basic triggers. Also, they kind of announced, we're going to work on Monster Strike Volume 2, which means there's a possibility we might get this similar to like Shogun King, which is we might get Volume 1, Volume 2 in the same set, which would be fine. I like that idea. Just like, hey, you know what? You missed on Volume 1, we need you to still get Volume 1, so here you go, here's Volume 1 and Volume 2 together. So, not bad, I take that. Okay. Oh, we're at that point already. I was having so much fun. Okay, so, let's talk about it. Let's rip the band-aid. So, JB players, I am so sorry. My friend Peter put it as best as said, man. They literally went and said, "Fuck these six, fuck these six fish in particular." Like when all the thunder striking, like that is pretty much what this was. Cause like outside of these standard hits, the two hit there are literally just kind of like, if you don't know, this looks like the most out of field. What are you doing possible? And we were like, "Dude, it's so good too." So we're gonna talk about it here. We're going to talk about the premium and V ones first, because the standard one is probably one of the ones I'm going to talk about here. So first off, for V standard, Koku Shigara, the Nubatama chicken that was like discard, bounce, and then discard the same amount of cards you bounce from your opponent. That is gone. That is banned. And then premium, what was it called? The Dragon Knight Dazari is also banned too. So people who do not know what's going on, these are definitely like very much hits specifically for the JP format, because Zari was actually a deck that was like really doing some stuff for premium. It was basically a combination of Eugene, Overlord, and Nizari, in which it would like use Eugene combined with the amount of Overlords you pack into your deck to then use Nizari to then burn your opponent's hand away in like Yeet 6. So that you just kind of get a good Overlord restand at OTK turn. That's pretty much why it got hit, and that's understandable. Nubatama Chicken got hit because there's also like, it's one thing, but there's also like a thing in V Premium that's gonna come out where it's like, oh, that's an actual like similar to what's the name, the Angel Feather Grade 3, where it's like, oh, this base becomes unguardable, unblockable, and just a whole lot of help. So that's another thing too. So now we move on to the standard lit hits, and Inlet Pulse and Magnolia get choice restricted, and Dark Strain gets hit to 1. For those of you who are also kind of confused with Dark Strain, because we'll talk about this now, Dark Strain is because if you're like, well, Bastion ain't doing anything over here, well, it ain't doing it over here, but in JP, it's probably one of the better decks in the format. So they were like, you know what, we gotta hit you some way. Here we go. You only get 1 Dark Strain, so it means if it gets popped, you lose out on your rear guards actually having like, boost and whatnot, so you have to play the order that doesn't really do anything and kind of breaks your hand. So yeah, that's the order that kind of doesn't do anything once you get that first one. So that's kind of like why it's there. They still have that order, so everything, they're fine-ish, but now they have to rely on an order that doesn't really, that kind of like, in a way, kind of clogs their deck in a way they didn't want to. As for Magnolia and Inlet Pulse is a fantastic card. Magnolia Elder is a fantastic card. The whole issue was, you had Inlet Pulse, which could go into Soul, draw a card, recur itself. Combined with MPEX was also shenanigans. It basically made Magnolia just the best deck in the format. And because you can rewrite Magnolia and call out Inlet Pulse, it basically meant that, well, you can keep recycling Inlet Pulse, you can get draws, you can get those attacks, and you just can't touch it. So now it's like, okay, now you gotta put this son of a gun into your actual Flagbert deck or your Rorora deck instead of playing in Magnolia. I think Magnolia is still gonna be strong. Like, it's still 6 attacks turn 4 onwards with a power boost, and you still run fronts. So it's gonna be there, but you don't have the like advantage engine that Inlet Pulse was just giving you constantly. So I think, I don't know, it might actually kind of kick the deck out, but it might also just like be a good thing too. So we'll have to see how it goes. So here's the also thing with that. I don't want to like look for the list because we're acting funky, if you know what I mean. But one of the things was there is we got the same similar warning that we got with similar wording, excuse me, that we got when we got the last restriction list, in which, oh, stay tuned on Friday for the English list. So that's going to be an interesting if they really do have a separate list. But I'll say this, like, standards hits are fine, but V and the issue isn't really standard, it's more so because I think standard's been in a good place. I mean, Magnolia might need a hit, but I think outside of that, standard's probably the best format, like in terms of like just straight up like a baseline like goodness. The issue comes with V and Premium if you're thinking like this is going to be a combined list versus like how it was back in last time, which I understand, because if you've been watching Prism play constantly, you've been watching Gurgwit play constantly, you've been watching Luard play constantly, Narukami might actually kind of see themselves there, Night Rose might get some buffs here or there. So like we've kind of been in a meta wise in a similar format for the same past 2 years. So that already is, that's stinky booty cheeks, no cap, to a lot of people. So for them to then say, oh, we're gonna hit Nubatama, which hasn't done anything. Oh, and for premium players who want something there, we're also gonna hit the one deck that actually uses Eugene in a competent way. Yeah, you get nothing. Buy more stuff. No, it stings, especially since JP, from what I read the kinds of things there, either have not cared about V or premium, but the people I know who do care about that are kind of upset because they're like, wait, yeah, we get it, but shouldn't there be more in this? Like, why are we just not like hitting like the decks that there? Also, put off the fact that they didn't even get the same hits that English got. Y'all notice that? Like, the English hits are missing. The English exclusive ones that got hit are missing. So they're not even here too. So JP is still literally at full power Prism and almost full power Lord. And I say almost full power Lord, it's like it's basically full power Lord because the main restriction was basically just straight up like almost instant. So it's like you're basically at full power Lord. You're at full power. I think they're also at full power Gurgwit. No. They have the choice between Gurgwit and Percival. So they're at full power Lord. They're at almost full power Percival. I mean, pretty much Percival is full power. As long as you have one, that card is like cracked and gets you where you need to be. So it's already just like full power, almost full power Gurgwit, almost full power Luard, almost full power Prism, and they're all getting good stuff in the next V Clan collection. Right? The Prism gets that the duos, Luard gets Ildana, and that the only reason why Ildana wasn't looked so good here in English was because we had the Charm hit, which means you don't get the full Charm charge. You might get there, but like you run out of resources much faster than you did if you had Char on. So that's everything. And then Holy Shine is a cracked card. Like I've been debating, but I was like, no, it's cracked, and I was like, no, there's no Percival, but it's like, you know, the whole thing. If I was to be honest, I think the issue is like, one, you need to choice restricting Percival in Gurgwit would probably be just the best thing. Just like keep it at one, choice restricted. Like combine both the original hits. Keep it at one, choice restricted. You cannot let this card stay there. Gurgwit already get a lot of power. Like just choice restrict Gurgwit, Holy Shine, and Percival all together. Or rather, like have like a formation where it's like, okay, you playing Gurgwit, you can't use Holy Shine and Percival. You can't use Holy Shine. You want to play you want to play Liberators and have Percival and Prominence Core and whatnot, okay, you can keep Holy Shine, but Percival set 1, but you can't play Great Ring. Like, you choose one of those there. You have to do something with that. And I think that's the biggest frustration, at least from what I've seen with the player base so far, at least when it comes to V and Premium, because, you know, over here in the West, we love these formats. We love Vanguard. That's pretty much it. We love all of Vanguard. So when we look at these hits, we're like, what are you doing? It feels like you don't really care as much. I understand. Really, the hits that we got from last list are pretty much from the grace of God, because they separated the producers. So I'm assuming like Intern Kun and Sunichi Taira were able to like debate for this. Like, hey, this is our format. People play these games. Let us at least try something here. And they got something. They got something for the first time in a while that actually was their decision. I know people were like, well, why can't we have combined lists? It's like, well, it's obvious that they don't want to do anything. So if anything's going to happen, English is going to do it. At this point, we've become like Digimon in a sense, you know, because JP is kind of like, it seems like Digimon is kind of dead over there in Japan, but over here in the West, they playing their behinds off on Digimon. They are balling out. They love this game. They will play this game until it actually dies, or something really wrong goes wrong. But they were punching Digimon. They are grinding that game. It's amazing to me, but they are. So that's what I'm kind of fearing. Is like, what are you doing? You're really just. I know Premium, again, Standard's in a good state. Standard is the main format right now. They can just keep going like that, and people will still eat it up. So as long as Standard's going over there, JP is fine. But if something happens to these like eternal formats, which we love over here, that hurts worse. So if they want to do some shenanigans like that and keep English JP different for whatever reason, if it means a healthier game over here and Standard's fine over there, I say at this point we gotta cut our losses and let that happen. It's only so much we can do. I wish it was a different option, but at this point there's only so much we can do if you want a healthier game, or like everybody as much as possible. People are happy as much as possible. So that's kind of my stance on the list. We got other stuff to get through, and we're already like 20 minutes in. Again, I want to do as little editing as possible. So let's move on. So we got the also the production list. So one thing I don't think is actually on this sheet. No, it's not. So one thing that's not on the sheet is, you know, they have this. They have set 6. They have Lyrical 2. They have set 8. Then they have 3. Then they have they have another product coming soon, and then 2 more things. And more info on Overdress Season 2 at that point. We've got a lot of Overdress products coming like in December. We don't know much info about them. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Monster Strike 1 and 2 is there. Then we have SS02 and BTO8 in December. Okay, that's what it was. Excuse me. See, this is such a good thing. I actually have information about this. Thank you, Freedomduo. I respect you. Thank you. So one of the things they also said in Different Fight, actually like translated it, is BTO7 is going to have more support, focused more so on the set 1 to 4 decks. Now, does that mean we're talking about like the guidelines that were made in those sets, or are we talking about like everything from set 1, including like the starter decks? Because if we're talking like straight up like support for those set 1 through 4 ones, that means like Eugene, Hexaorb, Flagbird, Gravidia, etc. That means those decks are going to get more support, which they desperately need. But you know, I have some kind of like talks about. I have like an idea for this now, because now set 7 has told me that that's the case. Which, if that's the case, oh my goodness, that's a topic for a while until that comes out. Yeah, I got new content. So that's gonna be interesting. Now we move on to REbirth. There's kind of a little bit limited stuff for REbirth. Bane Dreams getting a girls band party Pico on September 16th. Teppen will get a trial deck and booster in REbirth It will release in November 4th, which I don't remember what this series is, but looks cute. And last, Kaiji the Survivor is now in development. Like Genshin. We have no information on Genshin still. It's been a year. It probably has been a year since they announced that Genshin was coming to Rebirth. And nothing. And Kaiji's been announced too. We got Kaiji information before we got Genshin information. That's crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Rebirth. There wasn't really that much there. No real list, etc, etc. So that, and then we move on to Weiss. And Weiss has some interesting things. So first off, they're making a Star Wars comeback booster, which will release in Japan on the 23rd of September this year. And what it will do, it will have the set will include reprints from the trial deck and the booster with some text renewal. Now, from what I got from the translation that Chris gave us, it seems as if they're going to actually like make new effects, or rather clean up the effects from the Star Wars booster in a way that's like, oh yeah, it's the same card but with like more of a clean effect, or same card with a different effect. Which in that case, that would be interesting. It's like, okay, we've cleaned up the card, we've figured out what was wrong with the first time. Here we go. Here's a new card, reprinted basically. So next we got D4DJ getting a trial deck and booster that's coming soon. Another Love Live booster, which will be around Thanksgiving. And then Overlord Volume 2 will be coming on November 4th. And then there's another key all-star thing which will have Angel Beats, woohoo, Clanad, and all of them. I think Little Buster's Angel is key, I don't remember. And last but not least, they also announced that SAO will get a 10th anniversary? Yeah, it'll be a 10th anniversary booster, which will release November 18th. Oh, yeah, so for Weiss, this is some pretty cool stuff. I mean, this is some pretty nice stuff, I guess you could say. I'm interested. I like SAO. I think it's the animation anniversary, so it's a 10 years since the anime era, because SAO's been around for way longer. So yeah, I like Angel Beats, so Key's interesting to me. Overlord is Overlord, and D4DJ seems cool. Star Wars is interesting because I want to see what they do with that. And then last but not least, there's also restrictions to all of them, but I'll talk about it in a second. Last but not least, they announced that Weiss Schwarz Blau will be a thing. And according to Gadani, as well as on this slide, it is a new character card game. It will have the exact same rules as Weiss Schwarz, but it will be designed, at least on here it says, for light users, or basically newcomers. And it will be officially announced on July 14th. They are pulling an overdress with Weiss Schwarz. That is crazy. They're basically saying, yeah, Weiss Schwarz has gotten so big, what if we just made a nicer version, I guess you could say. So that's already interesting enough. So I'm intrigued in what that does, because I want to know what they're gonna do to make Weiss Schwarz for light players, like people that actually get in the game. That would be huge if you're able to like make Weiss Schwarz kind of more accessible, which would be great, because like I think Weiss Schwarz has a lot of issues. It has very similar issues like how Buddy Fight kind of had, but more so in a different way, because you only had up to, right, if you had a world or like a series, right, you had Fate, like you had to get back all that Fate stuff. A new Fate thing came out, but yet you have like Attack on Titan, which had support in 5-6 years, and just now finally get stuff. So now all that stuff is like 10,000 years pricey, and you got to reprint it, etc, etc. Or sets that just only got one wave of support and haven't gotten anything for years. So it was like, well, now I'm just sitting here on these cards. I was like, well, what do I do? I would love if they find a way to kind of rectify that sense, in a sense. Be like, yeah, you could still build a deck that actually does something that isn't just sitting there. So that'd be good. And then last but not least, we got Choice restrictions, I don't know what any of the restrictions do. Oh yeah, some common restrictions are like Grizzly got unrestricted. Rabbit got restricted, but there's a lot of stuff here. If you know Weiss Schwarz, let me know if are these good changes or not. So that'd be cool. But that's pretty much it for the TCG part stuff. So we move on to kind of the other big thing, which was a brand new game, Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days, which will come to English officially. Like, not like you can do it there, but like an actual English version of this game will be on Nintendo Switch and Steam, which means which means a lot of things. First off, we finally get a Vanguard game in English in the West after 10 plus years. Hallelujah. Secondly, straight up, this is legitimately like, straight up, it's on Steam, which means it's on PC, which means if they don't update it, it's going to get updated. You know what I mean? Especially if it might have a similar engine to EX. I'm not saying anything. Didn't hear nothing. But anyway, on that note, we also got a reel of the new MC, Yuki Ichidoji, excuse me, which, you know, this is like, the art style is fantastic. I like the art style of this game, and we'll see more in a little bit when we get to the actual like Steam page, the actual like game page. But like, she's cute, just really good, this really cute design, like just really nice. I really like the whole design. We'll talk about there. So we get here, go to the actual like page itself. Just all like Toya, Danji, Yu, they look all great in there. Got the 3 individual characters in here too. It's called Dream Days. So you have like kind of images on there. It's a new original story set in the Overdress world. I'm assuming it'll probably be around the end of season 2. So like in between Overdress and Will Dress, that'll be a thing. You know, we got, you know, Yu, Danji, Toya, at least confirmed early there. And then we got 4 characters. You know, first off, we got, if it'll load, yeah, we got Yuki Ichidoji, second year high schooler, and, you know, got into Vanguard with my brother. Then really good, a older protagonist just this time, which is really nice. We also have her brother. I think it's Rasen Ichidoji. So yeah, it's like we got her brother who's a middle schooler, you know, plays Vanguard and just enjoys it. They actually they're related this time. That's good. And then we've got Gosetsu. He is the owner of the shop. Apparently it's a popular restaurant. Man, so weird. And he used to lead the largest team in the area. So teams are related in some way, but you know, if we learn from Overdress Season 1, that might not say much. And we have Kanji Meguro, and he runs the shop Berserk. He is overwhelmingly because cars. It's late. I'm sorry. He is overwhelmingly charismatic and continues to be respected by everyone around him. So he is obviously the bad guy, considering that the image right here has this man like grabbing and like I will get the power, all that stuff. So it will all be, you know, there's still more data in there, and it'll be published later date. So the also thing is like they have like 1 person number of players. That doesn't tell us much, but it's always there. But I had a theory, and it's a dumb theory because it's really dumb. And my theory is, what if this is secretly a dating sim? What kind of name is Deer Days? That sounds like a light novel game. That literally sounds like That literally sounds like a light novel or like a dating sim game. Kind of right there. Right? Like, I'm not saying it is, but it'd be hilarious if there was something there. We also kind of see on this image that we've got CP and VP coming back, so it might actually be somewhat of the EX engine. So you didn't hear anything from me. You did not hear anything from me. And I forgot to talk about this during the so let's bring it up real quick. I forgot to talk about this originally during the Banlist section, so let's talk about this real quick. I'll probably like carve it in there. It's the same. Glenios got revealed, but there was also a change in that from now on, all Link Joker, like all reverse units in Link Joker decks lose everything. They can't gain gifts, they lose their abilities, they're basically just vanillas. And that is probably the worst mistake they've ever made. Like, none of these like reverse units were that powerful to just be like, hey, let's kneecap them so hard they're literally useless. They're all gigantic bricks in a format that does not have Ride deck. That is dumb, and I'm kind of copium on the idea that like English just does not bring this up at all. They just bring like, hey, you only get the V, you can use them there. Baby, they only get the V treat, the non order thing and the non power thing in V, and in that case, I'm fine with that, because that, you know, that's fine. That basically would mean like V got a lot of like Link Joker got a lot of support, and I don't know if like that'd be cool with a lot of people if like Link Joker's got way more support than anyone else, just innately out the fact that they can use their cards. So that's one thing. But otherwise, I'd probably say take that anti-restriction out of premium, because that doesn't really do anything. Those decks were not going to be like breaking the meta anytime soon. I can kind of get it. It was like, you know what, we just don't want to deal with that in the future. So that's probably like what they wanted to do. Is like, you know, we just don't want to deal with it. Which I understand totally. It's like I can't keep like watching V and Overdress and all our premium collections that we might break Leopold reverse all of a sudden. Like, there's just no way we're doing that. You're out your mind. So I understand it kinda. I just don't like how it was implemented, and we'll talk more about that when I do my V set review. So be on the watch out for that. But other than that, I think, you know, I also said like that's pretty much it. We went through Rebirth, Weiss, Vanguard, the new game coming out, you know, and I told you like Shadowverse already got its stuff earlier, and I'm still kind of waiting till we get the official announcement of when Shadowverse comes to the West for me to actually start like kind of like looking at that game. You know, even though I don't already do it for worldwide, but whatever. It's a bias, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's basically it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me actually thank you so much for tuning into the video. It's going to seem to be kind of a closer. So thank you for coming in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all have a nice day.